Outgoing Health Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi has suspended the HPCSA's Registrar and CEO, Dr. David Motau. This is a precautionary suspension announced yesterday. That was after Dr. Motau was arrested on charges related to his tenure as head of health in the department there in the Free State. He joined the Health Professions Council in June of this year. Let's talk more about the developments around his tenure with Health Professions Council of South Africa President, Professor Simon Nemutandani. Prof, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for being with us. So the legal developments around your now suspended CEO began at the start of the week. Then yesterday came the announcement of his precautionary suspension. Let's start with the grounds on which he's been suspended.
Well, good afternoon to all the viewers. As you are aware, the decision to suspend him was made by the acting Minister of Health on the grounds that he is facing charges in Free State where he was the HOD of Health. That is the reason that has been given by the Minister.
And as the Health Professions Council, were you not aware at all of investigations into allegations against him? Because this investigation looks at conduct that's said to have happened, misconduct in fact, and crimes allegedly committed between 2011 and 2015.
Well, during the interview, HPCSA was not aware that he is facing any criminal charges or any charges, and we had a security check which is done to all employees. The report came back to say there is no any threats or criminal charges that he is facing. And during the interview also, we normally ask employees to disclose if there are any circumstances under which they think it would prohibit them from being appointed, such as I'm facing criminal charges or any other charges that they may be pending for them. So he has not disclosed that, and to our knowledge up to now, we did not know that he was facing any criminal charges until that he was charged.
But Prof, a quick Google search of Dr. Motau quickly reveals that in about 2014, the Treatment Action Campaign in the Free State then accused him of corruption along with the then MEC Benny Malakwane. That was a different case altogether. But when you look at what was going on in the Free State Health Department during his time as head, the department eventually had to get intervention because its running was in a poor state. Are those two things alone, would they not have been enough of a red flag in as far as appointing him to a position as high as Registrar, CEO of the HPCSA?
As you may be aware, our organization, or HPCSA, relied on the security check, which up to this point, I have requested the records from the company that did the vetting for him. During the interview and the reports that were presented to us during the interview, there were no indication, both from the security check. We have not done the Google check, as you are aware, in the interview panel. We assigned it to an outside company to do the vetting for all our employees.
So this criminal case then aside, that has to do with tender irregularities, based on what I was just citing, the instances of a Department of Health in the Free State where he was head that was mismanaged at the time and I believe at some point under administration, paired with the fact that there had been an accusation, yes, not a conviction, of corruption from the likes of the Treatment Action Campaign some 7 years ago, would you say that alone is something that should have been picked up prior to his appointment?
Yeah, if it appears that he disclosed such information, I can tell you and assure all South Africans he would not have been appointed.
Who now states?
But it's a matter that we are investigating. I need to say that we are investigating whether the security check or that we requested the company did do their work. I have instructed the department that is responsible for that to give me information to check as to whether that was done. If it was done, did they miss it? How did they miss it? Because they could have missed those issues, and that is what we are investigating from HPCSA.
And by missing that, they've potentially jeopardized the standing of the HPCSA. Would you agree, especially because you concern yourself so much with the conduct of healthcare workers?
No, that's correct, because we need to uphold the highest standards that we can for all our professionals, and also making sure that our community is protected. That's correct.
Back to the issue at hand then, away from Mr. Motau's past, because that's not what he's been charged with now. This is to do with tenders, what he's dealing with currently. Who steps into his role while he's on suspension?
As you are aware, the letter was issued to him yesterday by the acting minister, Kubayi, who has been replaced by now Dr. Joe Pasa. I had an interaction with them, and we hope by Monday or Tuesday that would have been answered. We are working on that.
Mr. Motau, I was reading today in a report by Maverick Citizen, is said to have written to you as president of the Health Professions Council. Are you at liberty to share what he said in that writing, if indeed that's correct?
No, he has written to the minister, and I would say the minister is the appropriate one. We were not the main, because the letter was not coming for us in terms of the suspension. He has written to the minister. The minister is the right person that could respond to what has been written by Dr. Motau and his lawyer.
And as far as his suspension, yes, as with all suspensions, it is precautionary. Is your expectation that he would have to then sit it out until the conclusion of his legal matters?
Yeah, well, I need to indicate that from HPCSA, as soon as he reported to us that he's facing criminal charges, and his lawyer provided the letter to us to that effect, we had come together, or I have summoned the emergency or extraordinary council to discuss this matter. Whilst we were still in the process of finding mechanism and getting legal advice, it happened that the minister suspended, and we respect the authority of the minister, as the minister is the appointing person. We have to make sure that if the minister issues a letter of suspension, we adhere to that.
Perhaps I'm missing you here, Prof, slightly. If you can, just take us through what is going to happen internally during this period of suspension.
Well, I need to explain that HPCSA, it's a regulatory body which works together with the Department of Health, in the sense that when Dr. Motau was appointed, the HPCSA will do the interview and recommend 3 names to the minister to appoint. So the appointing authority is the minister. Now, in this case that the minister has suspended Dr. Motau, the council would have to recommend 3 names to the minister for the minister to make a decision. But as you are aware, the minister that has suspended Dr. Motau is no longer there. It's now Dr. Pasa, who we hope to have an engagement on this matter to find the possible replacement if the minister so wish, or if there are any other issues, we'll update you.
Professor Nemutandani, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for being on Newsfeed PM this Friday.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.